people are expected to join this thing? Oh, okay, it's live, right? It's not. They're not actually like going to join this thing. They're going to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Then somebody. Okay.
Do you have the link? Hello.
I'll post the link at the chat box, but then you guys are live now.
Oh, we're live now? Okay.
Yep.
Do you have a link to the video?
Yes, I'll be posting it like in a few seconds.
Okay, cool.
Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, we can. I can.
Teaching alumni. It's kind of the same thing. Okay. So let's go.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm having a story.
Okay, we're starting.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, cool. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the National Assembly of Malaysian Students in America's Career Webinar Series. The purpose of this series is to expose Malaysians in the US to various fields of interest, from public policy all the way to journalism, featuring experienced professionals from key industries in Malaysia. This webinar series hopes to encourage Malaysians to pursue their dreams by establishing a solid foundation for all of us to kickstart the journey. I am Hassan Azur Kamil, a sophomore at University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, also a campus leader for Teach For Malaysia, and I'll be the moderator for tonight's webinar with TFM, an NGO aiming to end education equity across Malaysia. Before we begin, I would like to introduce our panelists for tonight, Rasadika Muhammad Rosli and Najwa Huda Shaharil, who are currently both 2017 Fellows of Teach For Malaysia. The first speaker, Rasadika, is a class of 2016 graduate of Economics and International Studies from Iowa State University. While at Iowa State, Rasadika served as the president of the International Student Council, where she learned to become a leader. After graduation, she applied for the TFM fellowship and was successful before she was sent to a higher need school in Johor. She was recently featured on a Teach For Malaysia page on Facebook as a part to call in more graduates, in which she used a quote which I find very, very inspiring. Quote, "Leadership is not a position. Leadership is about you. It's about the impact you make on others. I've always believed that everyone is to be a champion who will inspire them to be the best version of themselves, and I want to be that champion." Moving on to our next speaker, Najwa Huda, who was also a class of 2016 graduate, but from Michigan State University, studying physics. While at Michigan State, Najwa served as a media committee of her Malaysian student organization, as well as the project director for MSO's yearbook project. Like Rasadika, she also applied for a Teach For Malaysia fellowship after graduation and was also sent to the remote state of Johor to teach for 2 years at a high-need school. TFM featured her in its blog in March 2017 to tell her story, in which she urged the need for overseas graduates to give back to the country by joining TFM. So I would like to also give out a piece of information. The next deadline to apply for the fellowship is on May 31st, and the recent graduates and current professionals who are interested and are watching this video right now, you may apply through the Teach For Malaysia website. So Assalamualaikum Rasadika dan Huda. We are very honored to have both of you here with us tonight. Throughout the webinar, I'll be asking both of you a set of questions. But anyone who are watching this video right now can comment any questions you would like to ask and in the live chat box. And do not forget to include your name and university as well. Now, some of our audience may or may not have heard about TFM actually. So Ras and Huda, let us start with a warm-up question. What is Teach For Malaysia and the fellowship program? So we may start with Ras or Huda. Who wants to start first?
Okay, I can. Then maybe I can add.
Okay, yeah.
So basically, Teach For Malaysia is it's a NGO who champion education inequity. We actually we gather people from different backgrounds, education backgrounds, to come to high need school in different parts of Malaysia and to teach for 2 years. It's not just about being a teacher. This program is not just about being a teacher, but it's also a leadership development program. So that's basically the idea of it.
She puts it out perfectly. And I guess it's not really just 2 years, it's a lifelong commitment. So basically, once you're a TFM, you're always a TFM. Yeah. That's about it. Yeah, that's the main thing.
Okay, that's interesting. So yeah, I'm also a part of TFM. So you guys can think of, there are many other ways you can contribute to TFM. So one of it is that if you become a campus leader, like I am. So yeah. So can we move on to the next question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I would like to know, this is just to inspire people to join TFM. Why did you join? Why did you both join TFM?
Okay. Oh, right. Let's start. Well, basically, I think I don't know. I always believe that I want to do something for other people. And I know since I was young, I've been privileged with good education, privileged with different opportunities. That I got to go to US. I got to study in a very good school when I was in secondary school. So I got a lot of opportunities. And I think it's time for me to come back to Malaysia and to do something for other people who need it. And that's why I joined TFM. And another part of it is I've always believed that I want to change the world. Well, so through education is one of the ways that I can make a difference. And even though you may not see it, like being a teacher, you may not see it every day that you have changed the life of others, but it's actually you're making an impact bit by bit. And also one more reason is because I really wanted to make a education policy in Malaysia, one day to be a policy maker. And by joining TFM, it can help me to understand more about the education system, the problem in school, the problem in the system, etc. So those are the reasons why.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so for me, I might have a very different story from Raz. So since I was young, I have always wanted to become a teacher. It's been my dream, even though in my college degree I was studying physics. But deep down, I know that I would want to end up becoming a teacher. So once I graduated, I took down this opportunity, and I believe that is the best decision I've ever made, because I couldn't think of myself becoming something else other than a teacher. But then what I realized about it is, after I joined TFM, it's not just fulfilling my dream of becoming a teacher. I've also managed to identify a lot of problems regarding the education system we have in Malaysia. I'm not saying that it's like really bad, that we need a lot of adjustments. Just that we have to see the problems from the roots, and we try to solve it bit by bit, like Rusty. So becoming a TFM fellow has opened up my eyes on that. And other than becoming a teacher, I've also wanted to make as much impact as I can in these 2 years, and maybe beyond that. So yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. Also, I want to highlight some statistics. The current education system in Malaysia. The current statistics tell us that 1 in 5 high school students do not complete high school. Right? Yeah, and in comparison to many other countries in Southeast Asia, we are also actually one of the lowest country in terms of fulfilling the PISA index, which gauges the education efficacy in Malaysia. So I just want to highlight that to the audience who are watching this right now. So yeah. Also, moving on to the next question. So this, I feel many are very curious about this, like why TFM only employ or bring in students or graduates from backgrounds that are non-educational. So I would like to ask both of you, how different is being a teacher under TFM and from being a teacher under the Ministry of Education?
Okay, so I can answer the first part of the question. So basically, how different of a life of a TFM fellow right now is we're under contract for 2 years. So we're not actually permanent teachers yet. And alongside that, for the first and a half year, we have to undergo diploma training, which means there's extra bit there. And after 2 years, we can actually decide to become a permanent teacher or not. And then, yes.
And then just to add on that, right? These 2 years are very hectic. However, we basically get the support from different parties, different people. Well, I think we're gonna talk more about it later. So the 2 years, maybe like some teachers from the other teachers, they may just like go to school and then they have to be there on their own. But then for this, we have a lot of support, a lot of help. And then another thing, right? Talking about the TFM fellow with non-educational background, like Najwa, physics, like myself, economics, and some of other friends, engineer, what else, accountant, and even some of them worked as a doctor before. So we're a group of professionals which come together and teach in school. So we have different ideas, different ways, and a different set of skills, knowledge, or strength to use that, to utilize that in our lesson. Also, to use those strengths to innovate ideas, on how to make lesson more interesting, on how to create new opportunities for our students, for them to be able to discover their potential. Yeah, so those are the.
So for me personally, it's always interesting to have my friends around me who are from different professional backgrounds and come together and talk about education. It's like you're seeing things in different perspectives. And I think that's very valuable. So how we provide our ideas and how we think of the solutions together, but from different views and different perspectives.
So just like imagine you are an English teacher, but with engineering background or media background or economics background, and then you use the knowledge that you have when you learn engineering into the lesson. So we have seen some of the fellows, some of the alumni who have created a very good lesson, very interesting lesson to actually capture the students' attention, like to make them more interested to learn.
Yeah, for me, at first it was really challenging. It was a really challenging task because I was from physics major and I'm teaching history right now. But that is where I take it as a challenge for myself because I can actually use my creativity as a science student, my critical thinking and problem solving skills and all that to be applied in pedagogy when I'm teaching history. So I think that makes a huge difference.
Okay, I think that's very, very inspiring. So yeah. So I think we'll be moving on to the next question. So now I would like to dig in a little more deeply, like Some Malaysians think that joining TFM is an act of volunteerism, which means they do this because it's like a popular culture. So instead of making an actual impact, so from the recent forum we had with our TFM co-founder, Zami Zulkifli, we talked extensively about it. So what do you think of this misconception, and would you like to share your own stories on how you approach this?
Okay, so as a start, I would like to stress that TFM is not a voluntary cause because you're mainly a full-time teacher in school and you're getting paid as much as a public servant, like a teacher would get paid lah. But it has a essence of volunteerism in which most of the fellows would be in the school and then they would try to identify the problems regarding the school or the community, the local community, and try to come up with solutions for that. So basically, most of the fellows would have this thing called initiatives, in which so these fellows would come together and come up with a solution for a problem, and they try to involve as much students as they can. So for example, we have initiative like
So we have initiative like what we're currently doing here in South Region. It's called Project Kickstart. So Project Kickstart is a leadership camp for students from different schools in Pasir Gudang area. So they come together and they brainstorm, they identify ideas, they identify problems and brainstorm ideas on how to solve those problems. And those problems are in their community or in their school. So after they brainstorm the ideas, they have to come out with, they have to present the ideas, and then they will get the opportunity to execute the ideas. So basically, we're not just the only, the fellows not just the one who actually make the impact, but the students are also trained to make an impact in their community.
so we're just providing a channel for them to do that.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so if they say it's just a 2-year program, after 2 years you left and you do nothing about it. So I guess up until now, there are around 200 plus alumni, if I'm not mistaken. So those alumni, some of them work as a teacher, some of them work in the government sector making policies, and then some of them work in the private sectors. And however, even though they're working in different fields now, but they still contribute back to the society by doing CSR, by giving donation, by and I guess maybe if you don't really do anything, but at least you have the idea of how the education system in Malaysia works, and maybe you can help to create awareness within your family members, within your close friends. So the 2-year program actually help you to understand more about the education system. And even after 2 years, Teach For Malaysia actually provide us opportunities to make a lifelong impact, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So now you know. So previously you mentioned about the application process that TFM is a leadership program instead of just a 2-year fellowship. Just a 2-year teaching program. So for the curious audience, would you share with us the application process, what it's like, and what TFM did or does to you during the 2-year fellowship program?
I'll start with the application process. So if you are interested, so first of all, you have to apply online. So it's on the teachformalaysia.org website, and then you apply online. And then after that, you will be called, or they will email you. So you will be having like a full interview. So if you pass the phone interview, you will go to assessment center. So during the assessment center, you will come together with 6 or 7 other candidates, and first you will have mock teaching. So you have to teach for 7 minutes, and then you will have group discussion, and finally it's a one-on-one interview for 1 hour. So that's basically the application process. During our time, I'm not sure about now.
It's a little bit different for me because when I had the interview, I was still in the US. So basically, everything was done online. So the phone interview was on, but the whole the whole mock teaching and one-on-one interview was done online. So I did not have the discussion part and stuff like that. It's a little bit different, but basically the essence is the same. And then for the second part of the question, which is what does or did TFM what TFM did or does to you during your 2 years? After we've been accepted, we had to go through UKCG, which is ujian
Kelayakan calon guru.
Yeah, so basically it has 3 parts or 2, 3.
3.
The physical part,
And then the written part, they are divided into 2 parts. So one is called INSA, another part is called, not too sure about that, but
something about your
something about your emotion,
your health, like
mental health,
mental health,
yeah.
or something like that. Are you capable of becoming a teacher? Like, are you mentally healthy to become a teacher or something like that? And then you also have to go through the physical part. So you have to pass a few tests to do that. And then after you pass that, you will join the ROS program.
So it's called Rancangan Orientasi Sekolah. Short form is ROS. So during ROS, it's a 1-week program. You go to a school that have a fellow in that school or an alumni. So you go there and you experience what it's like to be a teacher
For a week.
Yeah, for a week. And then some people actually withdraw from that because and then during that time they're like, oh, okay, this is the reality. But then some even more motivated because they know that I need to be here in order to make a difference. Yeah.
I think ROS was a very interesting experience, I would say, because it actually like opened up our eyes to how is it like to become a teacher. So before this, you just know all the theories behind it, but now that you've experienced it, it can help you to decide. And then after ROS, we have 2 months of course in Kuala Lumpur. Basically, that's when all the lessons about pedagogies, all the learning methods, how to write a lesson plan, all the micro teachings are being taught by TFM staff. After that, you will go into the school part lah. You're actually being sent to where you're accepted by the government. So for 2 years, the TFM fellows have been sent to Johor Bahru, Pasir Gudang specifically, because there's a high need of teachers here. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
And we're actually on our way to
Finishing it.
finish the first year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
so like, how long was the training program? Was it
Training program.
3 months?
Around 2 months. So the training program, there are 2 parts of the training program. The first part was so basically you come together and there will be like workshop on how to make, like Najwa mentioned just now, on how to make a lesson plan, on different things and how to engage with stakeholders, etc. And then the second part of the program, of the training program, was where we go to a school and we teach. So it's called Camp Sekolah. So we teach them English. So students come during holiday, school holiday, and they will learn English with us. So that's when we train all the things that we learn, like the pedagogy, all those things. Yeah, so those are the thing that we do during the training program.
So I know this is a bit too much, but maybe we can recap it a bit. So first, the application process. So once you pass that, you have to go through UKCG. That's the second thing. And then ROS, the school experience for a week. And then you have the course. And then you get into school. So 5 big things now.
Okay. So among those things, what do you guys think was the hardest? Not to discourage the audience. So, what do you guys think was the hardest for you too?
For me personally, I would say the time score Lala. It was the hardest, but the most interesting and challenging because it was my first time I actually teach in a full classroom. But it was a good introduction to how things are going to be for the rest of 2 years. Introduction. How about you?
For me, I think same as Najwa. So I think it was the most challenging because during that time, everyone, basically every night, we slept late because we wanted to come up with the best lesson plan, basically. But then I enjoyed throughout the process, from the beginning of the application process until the training program. I really enjoy it. I believe because of the people around me, because they are motivated people. So I become motivated as well. So and then I enjoy it because of them. Yeah, it's true. So no stress. It's stressful, but then you enjoy. Okay.
All right. So we actually have 2 questions from the audience. One is from Eda Hanafi from University of Michigan. Her question was if there is any particular training for people who signed up before they even start teaching. I think both of you have already answered that during the previous question. So, but would you guys like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, if you were like me and you were worried because you have basically no teaching experience before. So basically, the 2 months program actually help you to prepare with what you need to know as a teacher, like the pedagogy stuff. How can you project your voice? All the simplest basic things you learn there, and then what's the content that you need to know as an English teacher specifically. And then the second part of the Camp Scholar is where you apply all that and you try to see which one works, which one doesn't. So it's a very long process of learning, but it was challenging for me because at first I didn't know what kind of teacher I wanted to be. Do I be a garang teacher? Do I be a soft-spoken teacher? All those you learn over time, but it's over the experience. So if you feel like you're not ready now, don't worry because TFM will help you to be prepared. It's a long process, but you'll get there.
And then talking about teaching, so I think it's always based on trial and error. So you go to one class one day, you plan the best lesson plan, and then suddenly you wanted to execute it and it doesn't work. So yeah, so that's why it's also called leadership development program, because you actually learn on how to innovate your ideas. You actually learn on how to improvise it. So every day you go to school, sometimes it went well, sometimes it doesn't. So yeah.
And then another thing, another important part of this that you have to remember is becoming a teacher is not just about teaching content. you'll have to know how to control your students. So classroom management is very important, because even if you plan the best lesson plan and if your students don't cooperate, it's not going to work. So that's why you're a leader. You know, a teacher is a leader. So basically, you have multitask all at once. You have to control your students at the same time, present your content, and make sure that they understand and how you assess them. You know, so it's a very long process. It's not as simple as people think it is. But don't worry, you'll get there. You'll get there.
All right. That bring a window into the past. Like my teachers, I always take it very lightly that teachers are very, very, but they did a lot of job. They put a lot of effort into their job. So yeah. So we also have another one from Jawe Teo from University of Pennsylvania. She's wondering if you get to choose your own preferred location of service if you were to be successful in applying for TFM fellowship.
Basically, they would ask for your preference, but it really depends on the government and how they decided is through like which region needs the most teachers lah. Basically, right now, Pasir Gudang specifically is a developing area where a lot of schools are being built over a very short time. So we need a lot of teachers because there are a lot of new schools. So that's where we as TFM fellows try to cater for that. So we try to go in this area which, lack teachers, and we try to fill in the gaps.
So, like just now, she asked about location, right? Even subject itself to, so for Pasir Gudang area at least, there are two subjects that need teacher the most, which are English and also Sejarah. So, so that's why for us, there are two options. One of it's English and also Sejarah. However, if you go to the school and then they need PJ teacher or they need science teacher, and they know that you are capable of teaching that subject, and then they will give you that subject to teach as well.
All right, so it's interesting. Okay, so that bring like a window into the future that, like, I'm also very interested in applying for the fellowship, but I also have to serve my bond for 5 years, and after that I could apply, and then I could see how much effort I should put in into this this fellowship program. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next question. So this might be a bit personal. So Ras and Najwa, both of you have either natural science or a social science background. And like most TFM fellows, I assume both of you had received from some pressures among your peers and family members. So yeah, when trying to convince them, or yourself for that matter, about your decision to join TFM. So I was just wondering, what was it like for both of you?
So maybe I can go first. Okay, so being a physics student, I was, people always have the impression of me becoming a scientist one day and maybe, I don't know, invent a time machine or something. But that really did not come across my mind because becoming a teacher is what I really wanted to do. So when people are trying to be like, oh, why don't you pursue masters in physics and be someone in physics area, I would always say that teaching is what I want to do. But when I have a lot of reactions like, is that all you want to do? Like, don't you want to do something else? You can gain more, if you go somewhere else. And I, like, in my experience, I was very defensive of it. Like, when they asked me why would you want to become a teacher, and I would say, why not? So don't you want your kids to be taught by people who have experience of all these different fields of studies and stuff like that. But my family is the support system for me lah. So basically, even if people around me would try to convince me to maybe join something else, I remember my mom would always be like, it's it really does not matter what people think. It's really what you want to be and what you want to give to others. So basically, that's for me personally.
Oh yeah. And for me, my family always has high expectation on me. So graduated with economics background, and really wanted me to be, my father lah, especially, he wanted me to be in the government sector, working in the ministry of this and this. However, when I told them that I'm going to do this, they actually were quite disappointed, and they tried to convince me to do something else. But then I really wanted to do this ever since my final year in the university. So I tried to tell them what is it like. I tried to convince them why I'm doing this. And I tried to, from time to time, when I went to the Rancangan Orientasi Sekolah, I told them, this is the real situation in school. Don't you want me to help this? So, and then now my parents are the one, like Najwa as well, are the one who support me, who actually call me every day. How's school? How's your students? However, there's still other people out there. Some of the family members or some of the friends question my decision. And even until now, whenever I meet them, they will ask me like, oh, cikgu je? Rugi lah jadi cikgu, something like that. However, I believe that I have my own way on how to make them realize that it's not just a cikgu je. So one of the things that I do is post what I do, post my stories on Facebook, on Instagram, to make them realize that it's very important. This is very important to me, and it's very important to the students, or to the to this cause. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, and most of them actually inspired by that, and actually ask me, oh, how can I join this? And so I guess that's some of the effort that I do to make them understand why we're doing this, and to make them understand about the current education system as well.
So adding to that, I think Teach for Malaysia is a great it's a great way to I guess betulkan mindset of Malaysians who have all these cikgu je, because we're trying to portray that becoming teachers are not the least option that you have. Becoming teachers are the first option, and we would like people to know that we're doing this not because we don't have
Other things.
alternatives, but we're doing this because we really care about the students, and we really care to change whatever we can change in the system. And just to make people realize it's a huge advantage lah, because it's the mindset that we want to change alongside it.
Just, and then one more thing, right? I realized after 5 months of teaching, sudah lain the tajuk. Okay, 5 months of teaching, right? So TFM program is, you can apply until you're 32. So these people are this young, energetic people, I guess, I believe. So the students, right, they easily look up to you. So some of my friends, they're called Cikgu Idola, because they're like, age gap difference is not that big, just like 7 years, 8 years. And so we can actually
relate to them.
relate to them. So that's why they easily look up to us and they easily make us their role model. So it's very important for us, the young generation, to come together to be part of this.
And then for me, being a young teacher is a plus point on its own. Like you have the effortless, it's effortless for you to go into class and students will be, attracted to hear what you're saying because you have the energy, you have the aura that other teachers would not have just because of the young age lah. So so basically we can make full use of it. We can make full use of our youth to actually connect to students and inspire them to do more.
Okay.
Okay. Next question.
Lari je. It was funny.
We don't want to discriminate all teachers because of this.
No, we're not. I think what we're trying to say is the gap, the age difference, so they can easily relate to us. However, those teachers who have more experience, like who have been in the system for like more than 10 years, they actually have a lot of experience. So like for us, we actually we refer to them a lot lah, especially like how do you manage the class? How do you punish the students who don't do their homework? Because we want to know what works and what doesn't. Because like we're new, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know. Should we? So every time they don't bring their book, should we punish them for RM1? So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So that's why we refer to those teachers who have more experience. It doesn't mean that we're young teachers we have more advantages. No, it's just the energy.
Yeah. And I want to add to that. So being a young teacher has its own advantage and disadvantage. So basically, for me, my disadvantage is students don't really like. I guess they're really seeing me as their friends, which is a good thing. But then like they're not like when I try to punish them, they're not scared at all. So which is not a good thing. So so I guess how you balance that out and how you learn from the experienced teachers and how you cooperate that, and that's how you come out to become a better teacher lah, basically. You have a lot of disadvantages, but try to balance that. Yeah.
Okay. I would like to look back into the previous question that I asked. So along the way, did you ever manage to convince the people who once dealt with you?
Oh. Some. Some.
Okay.
Not everyone.
That's a good amount.
Okay.
But it's a process lah. It's not like one time you say it and then they would be convinced. It's what you do and what you try to improve every day, and how they're seeing it. What changes have you done, and they're seeing the process, and I guess that's how you convince them. It's not a one-time thing.
All right, I get it. So I think we can move on to the next question. So moving on to the best part, I think, yeah. So what was some of the best experiences working for Teach For Malaysia that you guys both had?
Okay. I just want to do a shout out to my TFM 2017 fellows. I think they're watching it now. So yeah, so there are a lot of best experiences, I would say. One of it is having very strong support system. Just yeah. So having very strong support system and working with like-minded people who are very inspired and motivated to help you to achieve the goal, basically, and to actually empower you as a leader and as a person. And then that's one of the things. And the other thing is definitely being a teacher, you can't really have good news every day. or good things happening every day. It's always about appreciating the little things, like how your students come to you and be like, "Cikgu, saya tak sabar nak belajar sejarah," and you know that you're actually like, oh, so you have made the class more interesting. And then other things like, you get a bouquet of chocolate one day, randomly, and some of the kids say, "Oh, cikgu, thank you sebab ajar English sampai saya lulus." So those are the things that make your day, and those are the things that keep me going, and of course my other friends as well. So it's not always the big thing. It's always the small things that make it big.
And those students, they fail English before?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Looking at our school now, I would say that it's made me surprised that some of them don't know the word tree, T-R-E-E, pokok. Even they are in their Form 1 and Form 2. Some of them don't know some of the Malay words, even they are Malay. So it's, we can talk about it more later. But those are the challenges.
Okay.
So for me, my best experience working has been because of my students lah. So basically, I had to handle a lot of like hard classes, tough classes full of kids with discipline problems, and like they legit were not scared of me when I'm trying to threat them with punishment and stuff like that. It was very difficult at first, but then as you know them more, you tend to know what made them to become like that. Like you get to the roots of the problem, and you try to understand these people and these kids. You try to understand why they're there and why they're acting like that. And once you understand that, you try to connect with them. And it's a very long process, but after 5 months, you just have to, see the slow change lah. And I think the small changes that they made in class, like at first they didn't want to do anything, and then after it progressed, you can see that they are actually doing your work, even if it's just a simple work. It actually made your day lah. So how you can see your kids' improvement over time, that's what kept me going, and that's what makes me feel like I have this opportunity to actually be close to these people who actually need me as an adult, who can actually help them, to motivate them, because I had my culture shock when I first came to the school, to see how little their motivation is. Like, these students do not have the motivation to go to school. Like, they're there just because they're being asked to do that, So I was raised. I went to privileged school, which the students are very motivated to do well in their exams and stuff like that. So being in the school with students who don't really know what they're doing, it actually like give me a little bit of shock lah, just to see how little their motivation is, and how so it's just, now that you know that, what are you going to do about that? So are you going to approach them personally and try to talk to them, and are you going to use different ways or different methods to actually like inspire this kid bit by bit? And sometimes it's not the biggest thing that matter to these kids. It's how you treat them. If you treat them nicely, they're kids. They would really appreciate that lah. So little nice things that you do to them, it actually meant a lot. So I guess that's the best experience, to actually get to be able to touch these kids' hearts, I guess.
So you mentioned that they have no motivation to move forward. So do you know the reason why they have little motivation to study?
I would say it's because a lot of things. Most of them have different family background. So most of them would have parents who are always away from home because they have to work. So basically, they have no adults around to supervise them. Most of them would be in a problematic, I would say, background where there's a lot of drugs or abuse involved, and these are the leading factors to why they're not really motivated. Most of them just want to work; they don't want to go to school, so they don't really see the point of going to school if they're just end up going to work. You know, so it's up to us to really show them the way and to really show them that education can change your life. You know, working can get you money, but education is really the thing that So it's you lah. It's you who um, who are responsible to because you've seen the problem and how you will go around it. Yes.
Yeah.
Adding to that, another factor why the lack of motivation is because of the lack of exposure and opportunities, I believe. So they've been here since they were small. So they have never seen what is it like in the world out there. So I've asked them, even though it's Pasir Gudang very close by to Singapore, right? I asked them, kenapa in Singapore? So, and then they're like, oh, tak pernah. Have you been to, even like, they really are here. They don't go out. And they stay together as a group of like kids who cycle at night, who do things together, but then they don't see what kind of things happening out there, and they don't see the opportunities out there as well. So maybe that's one of the reasons why there lack of motivation. Maybe because some of us we are more privileged. We know that if we do well in this, we will get the scholarship to go to overseas. If we do well in this, we will work in this sector. And even some of them, they don't know what they want to do. They only know like some of the occupations, like basic occupations that they see around them. So they don't know, and they don't even know how to get there. So I guess that's why they are lack of motivation, and which affect their result, which affect their behavior.
Like I'm sorry.
No, you can. No,
Okay.
you can.
So for me, personally, I have the experience of one kid who's in Form 3 right now. So he's taking PT3 and he's planning to quit school after Form 3. He's not even a bad student. He's actually in the top classes, but because he said he wanted to become a chef, and I guess one of the things why he wants to quit is because he knows SPM is hard. So he's like scared to get there lah. So I guess I can see his potential, and I don't want it to go to waste. So that's why I'm here to actually try to slowly talk to him about the opportunities that he could have after P3, after SPM. What are the alternatives that he can take to actually like capai his ambition. So I guess it's like Ras said lah, opportunities lah. They're not given the exposure of opportunities, which we have been since we were little, and we're responsible to give that to our kids.
Yeah, so I realize this is very different from the schools in urban areas, in which I'm also brought up in a very privileged school, and I realized that most of people there, they know what they gotta do in life later on, and because one of the factors because their family is they don't really encourage them to join. So yeah, to the people who are watching this, if you want to change that, join TFM, right? Okay. So I just want to get back to what Rustika told about the students who fail and then they pass English. Don't worry, we have until 10:30 Malaysian time, so we have a lot of time. Would you like to further explain that?
Okay. Hmm. So like Najwa, right? The culture shock that she experienced is the lack of motivation.
Mhm.
And maybe for me, lack of motivation is one of them, but also um, their literacy level. It's after 5 months into teaching, right? You're teaching the back classes, and you know that. So I'm teaching sejarah and English, and when I teach English, I try to use English because it's English class. But I know if I fully use English, they would not listen to me, or they would not understand even a word. And it surprised me how like simple word like red, the color, the red color, they don't know what's that. So whenever I give them um, an exercise to do, a handout to do, and they will start asking me, cikgu ni apa? And then, of course, I cannot be like, itu pun awak tak tahu. Okay. And then so, oh, it's the red color, merah. And then, oh, okay. So deep down inside, you know that, oh no, how do I do this? How do I help the students? Um, I'm not sure where this comes from. I'm not sure where things go wrong. Like, um, so with the power that I have now, with the energy, time, of course, we all want to give our best to help them. So I'll make sure that the two classes, two English classes that I'm teaching right now, who have very low proficiency level in English, um, I would at least make sure they learn at least one word every day, every time after the lesson. So um, I will make sure that before they go out from the class, I will ask them, so one word that you learned today. So they will say it. What is the meaning? This. So even though it is as simple as three pokok, I know that at least they learn something. So you sometimes it's actually a challenge for me as well, because I don't know how do I teach them. Do I follow the syllabus? If I follow the syllabus, it's actually quite hard for them to do it. So how do I teach them? How do I make sure that they know that English is not hard? Because for them, English is hard. They're like, susah lah English cikgu, tak boleh, saya tak boleh, memang tak boleh. So how do you motivate them to make sure that they know English it's possible for them to improve their English? So usually that what we as a cohort discuss as well. We do like word search. So they're very interested in that activity. So by doing word search, they can know new vocabs. And one of my students he was like, when he saw the word search, senang lah benda ni cikgu. So even though usually he really doesn't want to do my work, but then when he saw that, he wanted to do it. So he's motivated to actually find the word search for the word, and then that made him actually interested to learn more, basically. Yeah, so those are the stories. Some of them, if they see like a paragraph of English word, they would not want to do it at all until I have to stop them from going out to from going to the recess or going back. I want you to finish it, because the motive thing is, it's not, you don't want to make it tough for them, but you want to make sure that they learn something. It's basically, you know, yeah, that's how you tackle those problems. Basically, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, so adding to that, I think after teaching, a few bad classes, those students who really don't have the motivation to learn, um, it's like after a few months, I realized that this is not about getting them to pass the exam, just to pass the exam. This is more than that. This is about making sure that they have the motivation at first to learn at the first place, and then to tackle, I guess, their uh, behavior, I guess, just to make them like humanize them, I guess, to memanusiakan these kids, to actually like you cannot be saying those words because those words are not good. Just to make them be more, I guess, baik sikit lah, because they have been exposed to environment yang they don't really care what they say to others. They would hurt people, and they would just simply be rude and stuff like that. And it's us as teachers that have to correct that behavior lah. And I guess it's our responsibility. We have to let them know that it's not right. At least lah, if they can't be learning anything new or they can't be learning anything hard, we'll be able to, I guess, correct the behavior lah, I guess. Because I want to see my kids be good kids, not only like intellectually, but also, good person. Yeah, good person with good heart.
Yeah, I find it very, very interesting because you guys have just become TFM fellows for 5 months, and you guys have done a lot of things. So yeah, I find it very, very interesting. So can we move on to the next question?
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on. To most fellows, the impact making does not stop right after the program, right? The fellowship program. So what are some of the ways that we can do, or you guys are thinking what to do, to continue serving for TFM or the society in general?
Okay, should I go first? Yeah. So for me, I have the dream of taking my master's or maybe one day PhD in education, and having this experience in school, or maybe I can continue to become teachers for another 3 years. I don't know. So having this experience at school, I can actually identify problems that have been there in the education system, and maybe taking masters and PhD in one of the education punya area actually can help me to figure out what I can do next in a bigger scale, I guess. Maybe get in the government sector, policy making and stuff like that. So it doesn't just stop in school. I can actually do something more.
Yeah, I guess. So what we can do to continue serving for TFM or the society in general. Like I mentioned just now, like some of the alumni work in the private sector and still get involved with TFM by donating money or by so whenever we have initiative, whenever fellow have new initiative to do, some of the alumni actually help us to organize or to execute the initiative, and then some of them actually come out with social and actually like come out with their own organization, like Arus Academy, all those things. So of course, like all these alumni, they just don't stop there. They continue doing what they're supposed to do, and even some of them work as a teacher, and some of them work in the policy making sector. And so for myself as well, just now I mentioned about how by joining TFM, it's actually one of the ways for me to get the idea of how the education system work, so that one day I can actually help making the policies, education policies in Malaysia. So yeah. And then
just to add on that, I think there's an alumni who actually was in the engineering sector. His education was in engineering. And then he became a teacher, and then he quit after 2 years, and he managed to get his own social enterprise. He actually has done a lot of workshops for high school students and exposed them to the world of engineering, basically. So you can actually combine education and your own profession or skills, and he did wonders. I think a lot of students are very inspired to again, to provide opportunities for these students, to expose them to things that they have never really known about before. So
Does that answer the question?
Right. So we also have another question from the audience.
okay.
So Faris from Puju University has a question for both of you. He's wondering if you both ever consider going back to the career path related to your major after joining TFM?
Related to the major?
Yeah.
Economics. For me, no.
No.
Okay, I'm not sure. I think for me, I have economics background, but I'm always interested in people and also in education. So as of now, I'm not. I've yeah. I never thought of going back to economics as of now. So I'm not sure in the future. People. I can change my mind. Maybe I think that by joining, by working in the economic sector, I actually can help to make more changes in our country, in the world. So I might do that, but as of now, not yet. Yeah.
Maybe in policy making?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Me, it's a no lah. So basically, I don't see myself in physics sector whatsoever. But I guess I'm really interested in becoming a very experienced physics teacher one day. So that's how I can even though I cannot, even though I'm not planning to become a physicist in the future, I can actually help to melahirkan more physicists, as time comes. So I guess I'm going to stick to education. And yeah, that's it. Okay.
Did you mention that you want to do masters? I think.
Yeah, masters in education.
Oh yeah. All right. So if you guys are wondering some of the social enterprise that TFM has done, fellow alumni have done. So far, we have Arus Academy for the audience, who that does, they provide maker education. So the students, they can build robots or use the 3D printers to build whatever they want. So I think that's very interesting. And also we have other like Project 100%, I think. So
Yes.
So yeah, just to give that information to the audience. So yeah, I think we can move on to the next question. If you guys want to add anything?
No, not yet.
Oh yeah, okay. So okay, this is just for the audience. So besides becoming a fellow, what are some of the ways that we can contribute to TFM if you don't want to join the fellowship?
Okay. There are a lot of ways to contribute to TFM. First, by becoming campus leader, like you. And then you can also do your internship with TFM. So if you just graduated and you still looking for something that you want to do, you can actually join TFM and do an internship with them. And then you can actually work in the organization itself, like being the talent acquisition team, or being one of the staff basically. And then other things are like donating money. And then for US students, okay, not just US students, like for the students studying in the university, right? If you have any initiative that you think could benefit the students in a high need school, you can always reach out to us, and you can always contribute that way. I believe, because I know this one program called Inspire C, organized by the Australian students, Malaysian students studying in Australia. So every year they come back and they will go to high need school in, if I'm not mistaken, in the north, south, and also central. And those are the schools. Some of the schools are TFM schools. I mean, that have TFM fellows. So they come, they go there, and it's a motivational camp, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, you can do that as well. And then other things, you can,
That's a lot.
yeah, and then you can,
think of.
and then you can actually like reach out to us, the fellows, and then ask us, what you think about the education system, and then you can help us to tell other people as well what it's like in our education system now.
You make awareness lah.
And don't just and then don't say, and then try to tell other people lah. Cikgu is not just cikgu here. It's more
Wow,
than that.
cikgu.
Yeah, cikgu is change maker, I guess. Yeah.
Mission
Very
builder.
true. Najwa, you want to add on to that?
I'm gonna agree to what Ross said.
Okay. So if you guys wondering, for the undergrads especially, if you want to apply for any position in TFM, you can just surf the TFM website. We actually have a website. Or you can also email the recruitment at teachformalaysia.org. So just to give that information if you guys are interested. So I think we are on to the last question. Actually, if the audience doesn't have any other question, so yeah. So would you like to offer some advice or words of inspiration to those who decide to join or are thinking about to join TFM?
Okay. So for me, I would like to say that TFM is not going to be a bed of roses. It will challenge you physically and mentally. It will jolt you out of your comfort zone. But then, you change over the timeline. I guess I can see myself develop in just 5 months, more than I can see in back in a few years. I've changed a lot in a positive way, and I guess this experience will actually be. I think it's going to be the best, and it will be worth it.
For me, after 2 years, you may not change. So someone told me this. After 2 years, you may not change the life of your students. So you come, usually people join TFM with the idea of I'm going to make a difference to hundreds of students, but maybe you won't achieve it. But know that all the little things that you do with your students, even by just smiling, it can actually help making an impact to their life. Because being a teacher, it's actually a lifelong impact. It's not just about how you treat them, it's how you make them feel. So I guess that's what the least that we can do as a TFM fellow. We may not help them to get straight A's, but we can actually help them to feel that they belong to the society, that they actually important. So to all undergrads out there, like what I mentioned just now, we have the advantage to make them feel empowered and inspired to achieve their dreams. We have the advantage because we have been privileged with good education system, good education with good opportunities. So use those opportunities and bring it back to this high need school and motivate, empower, and inspire those students for them to see the world, for them to know that they're important. And yeah.
So I would just love to say my favorite quote, and that is, if you wish to see hope in your country, teach, and you will be amazed at the difference you can make.
That is very true. Even when I'm learning economics, I realize that there are many other factors that make a country develop. Instead of just like increasing capital or increasing consumption, there are also stuff that are hidden in the system that you can do to make the country prosperous. So yeah, I just want to add on to that. And so yeah, even though I just want to tell that even though if you if you have the idea of inspiring the students, you may not know that the students can also inspire you.
That's
And
true.
that is very true. So yeah, so if you want to, in general, if you want to make people better or you want to make yourself a better person, yeah, teach.
Sorry.
Yeah, join the whatever. So yeah, you guys want to add on to that, or the audience? Okay, I think we don't have any questions from the audience so far. So yeah, I think we can call it a day. Not call it a day, we just want to wrap it up. So we've discussed about how you guys can contribute to TFM, how TFM is like, how the fellowship is like, and what you can do to apply, and what other positions that you can also apply for to contribute to TFM. And other ways you can contribute even if you don't apply for TFM. So we discussed all those things, and we also shared stories from Najwa and Rasatika, which I find very, very inspiring. Considering that I also want to join TFM, so if you guys are also very inspired, you can make that like a benchmark. Their stories, and yeah, and we also discuss about that. Education is a process that it's not a very simple process. It's not a very simple task, I would say. Teachers are generally leaders that can change the society. And so yeah, if you want to be a change maker, if you want to do something, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the field of education. If you want to do something for the country, teach students, join TFM, and do whatever you want to contribute to the country. And I know we millennials, also you guys can also relate to this, that in the US, usually we relate to, hey, you millennials should change whatever they want. Like they should make a change. And if you are very into that rhetoric, join the FM. That's one of the things they can do. So yeah, okay, that's all the time that we have for today's webinar. Thank you so much for your time, Najwa and Rasatika. We really appreciate your time for joining us for 1.5 hours. And I'm sure that everyone who watched this has a better understanding of what Teach For Malaysia is, and the ways that you can get involved in the course. As already mentioned, the next deadline to apply for the fellowship is on May 31st. So do so as soon as you can, if possible. And we also have another deadline, which is on July 3rd, I think. So yeah, or if you have any other questions that are not covered in this webinar, you can email to recruitment@teachformalaysia.org to inquire anything about the fellowship of other positions in the firm that you have in mind. So yeah. Also, I would like to appreciate. We were very okay. And part of NAMSA, we would very appreciate if you could take a minute or two to fill in a short feedback form in our comments section below on our TFM on our FB event page to leave your thoughts and comments of tonight's webinar, so that we'll be able to organize an event even better one next time. So yeah, thank you to everyone who willing to participate in this webinar, and thank you to our two speakers here today, Najwa and Rasatika. So yeah, we can call it a day.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Assalamualaikum.